Thank you. Today is an important day. It's Tibet Lobby Day, and Tibetan delegates are in the building today, meeting with members of Parliament from across the political spectrum to advocate for peace, for freedom and for human rights in Tibet. And I particularly want to acknowledge the delegates who are seated in the gallery today, including Mr Tenzin Phuntsok Doring, the member of the Tibetan Parliament in exile for the electorate of Australasia, and Mr Karma Singay, representative of His Holiness the Dalai Lama in Australia. And I had the privilege of travelling with Mr Singay to Washington DC in June this year for the 8th World Parliamentarians Convention on Tibet. And one of the issues that the Tibetan delegation are raising with members of Parliament, which I spoke to them about this morning, is the succession of the Dalai Lama. In 1995, Chinese security forces kidnapped a year-old Tibetan child, Gedun Cherki Nyima, following his recognition by the Dalai Lama as the Tibet's Panchen Lama, and tragically he hasn't been heard from since. Today he would be over 30 years old. Tibet's traditional practices, culture and Tibetan Buddhism are under threat. Carrying or possessing a photo of the Dalai Lama brings with it harsh penalties, including imprisonment. The Greens believe that universal human rights are fundamental and must be respected and protected for all peoples in all countries, and that applies here in Australia as well. And we will speak out about human rights abuses wherever they occur. We urge the Australian government to oppose any effort to interfere with the practices of Tibetan Buddhism and only recognise the Dalai Lama appointed via Tibetan Buddhist traditions and practices. And I have lodged a motion to this effect on the notice paper today, and it was something that I will continue to raise in this place through every means possible.